Oh, wow, you got pictures of me? I could strike the fuck out of you for having my image. Las Vegas for the hearing. Nick's on. Oh, he's going after her. I always feel like his family was put a lot on him if he didn't take care of everything. Told cops on you, she never met him. Take him out on John Walsh. Take him on Fox News, CNN. Anyone that's making money, period, about talking and reporting, they're all tragedy pimps. But the only reason you call me one is because you know that I'll hear you calling me a tragedy pimp. Because you think it's going to make me feel bad. But just remember and keep in mind, I'm not the reason that this child is gone. I do believe that if Summer Wells was born into this home.
Yo, I don't even know what to make of this. I'm bored. I'm up. MGL is on her new channel. I figured she ain't been on in a while. I'd give her a shot. Let me go listen to her. I decide to chat in her chat. We're going to go back. I say, she is ridiculous. Oh my God. Drama. Okay, so I said to her, Molly, I love when you just chat like this. I was really enjoying her conversation. She was talking about no Nick Carter. I find that kind of amazing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I love when you chat like this. I'm happy you are back. However, I think you're talented, funny, and beautiful. Please don't go running around outside people like Summer's home harassing neighborhoods. It wouldn't let me finish my chat before I like it don't let you put enough character letters. So I went and put with Betty, I love this side of you, just listen to you talk about Aaron, etc. She gets on and immediately starts attacking me. It's ridiculous. Hi, little Dev. Hi, PM. Like, completely ridiculous. And now we're just going to go back and listen to this because I find it hysterical. She called me an idiot, all kinds of names. She says she went to my channel. She's giving my information to her husband so he can go to the courthouse and get all the deets on me. Molly, it's all over my channel. If you want to know something, I'll give you my information. It's not a problem. I find this hysterical, and having a normal human conversation with you, I can see here is really freaking impossible. So let me just read my chat and then we'll go listen to her. So then she's going on and on. No, you know what? I can't read the chat. It won't make sense unless we listen. So she might strike me. I won't monetize. Whatever. Let's just listen to this ridiculousness. So dramatic.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So the people that are actually looking for this poor kid in the rain, in the ice, in the snow.
I might go back a little further than I should have because I didn't go far enough. I'm mind blown right now. I'm gonna pack my bull.
Of his own. And he didn't want these problematic siblings who refused to get help around his life. I mean, I personally don't even know how Nick Carter even has time for his own wife or his children. How's my sister? She's living her best life. She's got a fiance that worships the fucking ground she walks on. They own a fucking karaoke fucking business together. And so she gets to sing. She fucking thinks she's Diana Ross down there. My sister is fucking super happy. Super happy. And I'm happy for her. My brother.
I don't even know if it's an attack. To be honest with you, Lisa, I find it hysterical. I think it's funny. I think it's funny that you can't even hold a conversation with her before she makes everything so Like, everything's a show. You know what I mean? You reported PG, good. I have a lot to say about her too. Hold on.
Um, got in touch with me when he saw it circulating that Sensei Crease over here kissed his fucking sister. I said, Joey, you're just fucking jealous. And he goes, yeah, because I want to be kissed by a fucking old man. And I'm like, you know what? You fucking do. And you're fucking jealous. And he just went back with some banter. He had issues, but I seen him to be so sweet to fans a bunch. Who, Aaron? I never got to meet Aaron. Aaron's photo was all over the highlight. Said that he was going to be at Club X or something like that in Harrisburg, literally right by our Airbnb. And apparently, he was supposed to like be doing something with some group called O Town, who I don't know really who they are.
How do you know who Aaron Carter is and you don't know who O Town is? By the way, O Town's probably like victims of Diddy, but whatever. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Pam. I almost grabbed her link tonight, her StreamYard link, and went on panel. I had to quit listening to her. And I started putting together some you think Molly has PTSD? I don't know what Molly has. The dramatics. She likes a show. I don't know what this was. Like, you can't even. I was like trying to be friendly with the woman. O Town, it's a band. Remember making of the band? P. Diddy did. It was a TV show. Okay. Never mind. Let's just listen to this. We got to get to the parts because it's funny to me. It's hysterical. And I hope she's out there watching it because she's sending her husband to the courthouse to get all of my information.
And I guess one.
Oh, she took it off. Damn it. She made it unavailable. What a bitch. Oh my God. Did anybody see it? I don't even get to rewatch it. I want to laugh at it, Molly. That's really a little bit too far, don't you think? Come on, baby. What the hell is up with that shit? It wasn't even all that bad. You're sending your husband to the courthouse on me. Go get all my information, lady. Let's go. We're from the same state. You know that? It wouldn't be hard to do. Damn it. I wanted to rewatch it. Put it back up. No, she didn't. She said I was standing up for Dawn. Dawn's a bad guy. She doesn't care that he got fired. What I wanted to address was I was trying to tell her that, the boys are going to see this, that Dawn's kids are going to grow up and they're going to see all the stuff that's put out. And she's like, well, my channel was taken down and they're not going to see nothing I have put up. And I was like, but Olivia and Betty are going on about this documentary they're doing, right? And that's going to be out there. And how many clips? I don't know. I don't know what I did to pee her off so bad. I read to you what my conversation was. She just started going to fuck off just because I commented in her room. Like, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Molly, I didn't mean to start a fight with you, dear. Okay, yes, I do have some videos of you because she went to my channel and was showing my channel and all my videos. I'm not the tragedy pimp. She is. Look, Summer Wells, Summer Wells. She got my picture up there. I could strike her, she said. It wasn't even all that serious. She ruined her whole Aaron Carter conversation. I wanted to hear more. I didn't want her to start going off and shit. I wanted to hear about Aaron Carter. I had some questions. Oh my goodness. Right, Lisa. It has. And the boys are going to grow up and see this, regardless of what kind of parents Dawn and Candace are, right? You're still putting it out there, shit, for their kids to grow up and see, to remember and have the horrible memories forever. And I am too. We all are. But she takes no responsibility for that. And she just went straight into baby shit right now. I don't even know what that whole flip out was about. I just left and I went live. Jesus. Molly, if you want to grab a link, you're welcome to come up. Oh my. Okay, well, I guess that fun's over. I can't believe she stopped the stream and deleted it. Come on, lady. You're big bad Molly. What the hell is that all about? I didn't even get to hit my bull yet. It's my last one. I'm out after this. Jesus. Okay, so I made something. I suck. Hold on. Attention seeking with your low. That must be Molly. Bottom feeder trying to come up. Rose. What? I don't give a shit about numbers. Have you not noticed that? I took a whole channel down that was much bigger on my own. I took it down. You're ridiculous. Anyways, I want to show you guys something I was making. We don't have, I know. I'll put a link up if she wants to come. I don't want her to yell because that wasn't my intention. You can't see that person. They must have you blocked, Pam. There's the link. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys something I was working on because I didn't plan to come live, but I'm sitting here bored. But the thing I made is not exactly, it's more educational. We'll only listen to a few minutes of it because it's not done. But I did a lot of research the last couple days on CPS. And hold on, let me go to my studio. I just want to give you guys a sample. Hold on, I gotta load. Of something I'm working on, but I'm going to add to it, and I want to make it like a different part series, and I'm going to add some things that Dawn said to it. So I want you guys to give me some time to get this done so that it isn't so boring. Okay. The beginning of it loaded. We can listen from here. Let me know what you guys think, and if there's anything you personally want added to it, leave it in my comment section of this live. And I'll go look into it and we can add and just learn. Okay, hold on.
1. Legal mandate and purpose. CPS operates under a clearly defined legal mandate, rooted in state and federal law, designed to ensure the protection and welfare of children. The fundamental purpose of CPS is to safeguard children from abuse, neglect, exploitation, and any form of harm that may threaten their well-being. This mandate is not just a set of guidelines but a legally enforceable obligation that directs every action taken by CPS workers. A. Federal legislation. Key federal laws like the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act (CAPTA), enacted in 1974, established a minimum set of standards that states must follow in their child protection efforts. CAPTA mandates that states have procedures in place for the reporting of suspected child abuse and neglect, ensuring that these reports are investigated and that appropriate actions are taken. The law also provides federal funding to states that meet these requirements, making it a cornerstone of the child protection system. B. State-specific legislation. While CAPTA provides the baseline, Each state has its own specific laws and regulations governing how CPS operates within its jurisdiction. These laws outline the circumstances under which CPS can intervene in a family's life, the procedures for conducting investigations, and the criteria for removing a child from their home. State laws also establish the rights of parents and children in these processes, ensuring that all parties are treated fairly and equitably. C. Mission and values. CPS's mission is to prioritize the safety and well-being of children while respecting family autonomy whenever possible. The agency operates under a set of core values that include respect for the dignity and worth of every individual, a commitment to fairness and equity, and the belief that children should remain with their families whenever it is safe to do so. These values guide every aspect of CPS's work, from decision-making in individual cases to broader policy development. D. Scope of work. The scope of CPS's work is vast and includes investigating reports of child abuse and neglect, providing services to strengthen families, placing children in foster care when necessary, and work.
Okay, so that's rather boring right now. Yeah, lady, or I didn't even see you come in. I'm out causing trouble. I really wasn't trying to. I don't know. She's so dramatic, dude. That was crazy. She went from in a really good mood, like just bullshitting about Aaron Carter. I was really into the conversation. Like, I was enjoying it. It was something different than Summer. And I just was like bringing something up that we both know about. You know what I mean? But she deleted it. I wanted to clip it. That would have been great. I'm so mad. I wish she'd put it back up. Put it up, Molly. You big baby. You're as bad as the rest of them. Unreal. But anyways, this is rather boring, but it gets really deep and it's about an hour long so far. But it's going to be even longer because what I want to do is go through some CPS talk that Dawn and Candace did and add it to it to see if it goes with the laws, and then I want to continue it. I don't want to quit because I don't believe CPS is all good like the research tells me, right? So I don't believe they're all bad either. I think a lot of it goes into funding. You can see that there's a lot of something I learned while doing this the last couple days. She said, "Yeah, you big baby." But the thing I've been doing the last couple days is just researching what it is they're supposed to be doing. But there are things they don't do, but there are advocacy programs that really keep an eye on their asses, and they bring lawsuits and things like that. But if you see in cases like Harmony, Montgomery, and in some other cases, a lot of other cases, everyday cases that we don't even hear about, there's a lot of times children are removed and not placed into the proper situation, even when it looks like that they are. Now, I've told you guys in the past that my husband comes out of the foster care system. He's one of them children that were placed with a very rich family, but the family didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they looked good on paper. And he ended up having a really hard life, in my opinion, because of them. There's a lot of situations where that comes up. So when Dawn and Candace say, we think CPS took our kids and this, that, and the other, no. In my opinion, they were given ample time to get their shit together. In the phone call with Tim, you can hear Benny talk about the stipulations. In the phone call with Candace, you can hear Candace say, "I could have gotten my kids back if I just left Donnie. I could have got them back faster." You hear people like Dudley say Dawn was hiding from CPS 2 months prior. He didn't want to be seen. But then you hear they were there to close the case. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't think the case was closed. that's my opinion. That's after listening to things the last couple days. I think it was a home visit. We hear people like Allison say that Dawn and Candace don't like to answer their door. Jody Sue, even though she says, yeah, CPS was there, that has been downplayed since she came on the scene here, because at the beginning it was a CPS situation next door the same day as Dobbs. So a situation and closing are two different things. I'm not putting the Wells down. I'm saying I don't think they were mentally or sober enough to put themselves in a situation where they would get their kids back. I do not no way in hell believe some caseworker came and just kidnapped a child. But what it does is it gives us the opportunity to look into CPS and things that we as citizens can do, maybe, and writing petitions and things like that to get our CPS system better. Because the one thing I don't like that has come out of Summer Wells' case is the Isaiah 117 house. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. I've said it before. I don't like how when CPS takes a child, because there are opportunities where CPS will take children out of a home and they'll place them in the places they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really, man, it's so hard to explain. Knowing what I know about my son, my ex-husband, not my, well, we were still married when he had passed away. Knowing what I know about his case, growing up, it makes me feel a certain way. I don't like that the Isaiah 117 house with no credentials has the capability to go transport children from place to place when there is funding out there that already does that. So I think as a crime community and as a creator, and being that part of things I want to talk about are things like that on my channel, I think it's important that we look at aspects. And Summer, in a lot of ways has opened up a lot of dialogue and conversation for things like that. You know what I mean? Summer has saved other children. She has given us a broader perspective to look at it and to see what we can see. Is it a possibility that Dawn Wells and Candace's children were taken because they were excellent parents and just because Summer went missing? I highly doubt that. You know what I mean? They may have closed Will's case, but if they got a new call or new information, they can go right back and open a new one. Right. And that's something I learned, and that's something in the thing I made that you guys are going to hear, that there's actually, you know what? I'm here. If you guys don't mind the boringness, this ain't done, but we can listen to it because it tells you Dawn and Candace could have gone and sued CPS if they thought their kids were wrongfully taken. They have had opportunities for advocates and for these advocacy programs to look into that, and not state funded at a governmental level. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but didn't Dawn tell them to take the boys? Yeah, that's what he says. He did say that. You know what? If you guys don't mind, let's just sit back and listen to this, and I'll still take it apart and add to it later because it's really just really educational now, not fun, but it's worth listening to because, yeah, they can definitely open another case. This is really eye-opening, really, but it's kind of boring. And it's not necessarily things that I completely agree with, just so you guys know. But that's why it isn't done. But it's informative. So I'll let it play from where we left off.
Working toward family reunification or other permanent living arrangements for children. CPS workers are trained to approach each case with the understanding that the best place for a child, when safe and appropriate, is with their family. However, when safety cannot be assured, CPS is obligated to take protective action, even if that means removing the child from the home. Interagency collaboration. CPS does not operate in isolation. It works closely with other agencies, including law enforcement, schools, healthcare providers, and the judicial system, to carry out its mandate. This collaboration is crucial, as it allows CPS to gather a complete picture of the child's situation and to make informed decisions about the best course of action. For instance, law enforcement may be involved in cases where criminal abuse is suspected, while healthcare providers can provide medical assessments that inform CPS's decision-making. Ethical obligations. CPS workers are bound by ethical obligations that require them to act in the best interests of the child, to maintain confidentiality, and to treat all parties with respect and fairness. These ethical standards are enforced through professional codes of conduct, and violations can result in disciplinary action, including the loss of licensure or employment. This ethical framework ensures that CPS workers maintain the highest standards of professionalism in their interactions with families. 2. Reporting and intake procedures. The process of reporting suspected child abuse or neglect is a critical first step in CPS intervention. This process involves multiple layers of evaluation to ensure that reports are taken seriously and that
And something I wanted to elaborate on this part is when the fake CPS calls come in from YouTube creators because they want to cause a ruckus because they don't like somebody, that would play into this. So that would be a part I'm going to put into the little like documentary thing I'm making. But I guess this is a sneak peek. It's something I'm doing.
investigations are only initiated when warranted. CPS intake procedures are designed to balance the need for prompt action with the need to protect families from unnecessary intrusion. A. Mandated reporters. Certain professionals, such as teachers, doctors, and law enforcement officers, are legally required to report any suspicions of child abuse or neglect. These individuals are known as mandated reporters. Their role is crucial because they are often in positions to observe signs of abuse or neglect that might not be evident to others. Mandated reporters are trained to recognize these signs and to understand their legal obligation to report them to CPS. B. Anonymous reporting. In addition to mandated reporters, any member of the public can report suspected abuse or neglect, and they may do so anonymously. This provision is important because it allows individuals to come forward without fear of retaliation. However, anonymous reports can sometimes pose challenges for CPS, as the lack of identifiable sources can make it more difficult to assess the credibility of the information provided. C. Intake screening. When a report is received, it goes through an intake screening process. Intake workers, who are trained professionals, evaluate the report to determine whether it meets the criteria for an investigation. They assess the nature of the allegations, the immediacy of the threat to the child, and any prior history of CPS involvement with the family. Not all reports lead to investigations. Those that do not meet the threshold for action are documented, and the reporter may be provided with information or resources as appropriate. Risk assessment tools. To aid in the intake screening process, CPS agencies often use standardized risk assessment tools. These tools are designed to provide a structured way to evaluate the potential risk to the child based on the information provided in the report. Factors such as the severity of the alleged abuse, the age and vulnerability of the child, and the presence of protective factors such as a supportive family member are considered. These assessments help ensure that decisions are made consistently and based on evidence. Decision to investigate. If the intake worker determines that the report meets the criteria for investigation, the case is assigned to a CPS investigator. The decision to investigate is not taken lightly. It is based on a careful consideration of the available information and the potential risks to the child. In some cases, a report may be assigned for a differential response, where the family is offered voluntary services without the formal involvement of CPS. This approach is used in situations where the risk is low, but the family may benefit from additional support. documentation and record keeping. All reports received by CPS, whether they lead to an investigation or not, are documented and kept on record. This documentation is crucial for several reasons. It allows CPS to track patterns of behavior or repeated reports that might indicate a more serious underlying issue. It also provides
Just remember what we're listening to is at the federal level. It's not at a state level. This is federal laws and what federal puts into play for this sort of thing.
a record that can be reviewed in the future if new concerns arise. CPS is required to maintain these records in a secure manner to protect the privacy of the individuals involved. 3. Investigative process. Once a report is deemed credible and an investigation is initiated, CPS follows a rigorous and methodical process to assess the child's safety and the family's situation. This investigative process is guided by strict protocols to ensure that the child's well-being is the primary focus, while also respecting the rights of the parents. A. Initial contact and assessment. The first step in the investigation is making contact with the family. CPS workers are trained to approach this initial contact with sensitivity and professionalism. The purpose of this visit is to assess the immediate safety of the child and to gather more information about the family's circumstances. Investigators typically arrive unannounced to ensure that they are able to observe the child's living conditions as they naturally occur. B. Interviewing the child. If the child is old enough and it is deemed appropriate, CPS will interview the child. These interviews are conducted in a way that is designed to minimize trauma and ensure the child feels safe. Interviewers are specially trained to communicate with children, using techniques that are age-appropriate and non-leading. The child's responses are carefully documented, as they are a critical component of the investigation. C. Interviewing family members and others. In addition to interviewing the child, CPS will interview the parents, other family members, and potentially other individuals who may have relevant information, such as neighbors, teachers, or healthcare providers. The goal of these interviews is to gather a comprehensive understanding of the family's situation, including any stressors that may be contributing to the reported concerns. CPS workers are trained to approach these interviews with an open mind, recognizing that there may be multiple perspectives on the situation. D. Home assessment. A physical assessment of the home is a standard part of the CPS investigation. This assessment includes evaluating the cleanliness and safety of the home environment, the availability of food and basic necessities, and the presence of any hazards. CPS workers also look for signs of physical abuse, such as unexplained bruises or injuries. If the child appears to be in immediate danger, the CPS worker has the authority to take protective action, which may include removing the child from the home. E. Collaboration with law enforcement. In cases where criminal behavior, such as physical or sexual abuse, is suspected, CPS often collaborates with law enforcement. This collaboration ensures that the investigation is thorough and that any criminal aspects of the case are addressed. Law enforcement may accompany CPS workers during home visits, particularly in situations where there is a potential for violence. Joint investigations allow for a coordinated response that prioritizes the child's safety while ensuring that any legal violations are properly addressed. F. Evidence collection and documentation. Throughout the investigation, CPS workers collect evidence to support their findings. This may include photographs of the home environment, medical reports, school records, and testimonies from interviews. All evidence is meticulously documented in the case file, which serves as the official record of the investigation. This documentation is critical, as it forms the basis for any subsequent actions, including court proceedings if the case escalates to that level. G. Case analysis and risk assessment. Once all relevant information is gathered, CPS conducts a comprehensive analysis of the case. This analysis includes a risk assessment that evaluates the likelihood of future harm to the child. Factors considered include the severity of the reported concerns, the parent's willingness to cooperate with CPS, the presence of protective factors, and any prior history of abuse or neglect. The outcome of this analysis determines the next steps in the case, whether that be closing the case, providing services, or seeking court intervention. H. Communication with the family. CPS is required to communicate the findings of the investigation to the family. If the investigation substantiates the concerns of abuse or neglect, CPS will work with the family to develop a safety plan. This plan outlines the steps the family must take to address the issues identified and to ensure the child's safety. If the case is closed without findings of abuse or neglect, CPS will explain the reasons for this decision to the family and may offer resources or referrals for voluntary services. I. Continuous monitoring. In cases where CPS determines that ongoing monitoring is necessary, the agency will continue to work with the family over an extended period. This monitoring may involve regular home visits, check-ins with the child, and coordination with other service providers. The goal is to support the family in making the necessary changes to provide a safe and nurturing environment for the child. Continuous monitoring also allows CPS to intervene quickly if new concerns arise. J. Case closure. A CPS case is closed when the agency determines that the child is no longer at risk of harm and that the family has made sufficient progress in addressing the issues identified during the investigation. Case closure does not necessarily mean the end of CPS involvement. In some instances, the family may continue to receive voluntary services or be referred to community resources. The closure process includes a final review of the case file and documentation of all actions taken. 4. Judicial oversight. The judicial system plays a crucial role in overseeing the actions of CPS, particularly in cases where the removal of a child from their home is being considered. This oversight ensures that CPS operates within the bounds of the law and that the rights of families are protected. A. Legal standards for removal. CPS cannot remove a child from their home without demonstrating to a judge that the child is in immediate danger. The legal standard typically required is imminent risk of harm, meaning that there is a clear and present danger to the child's safety that justifies removal. CPS must present evidence to support this claim, and the judge must be convinced that removal is the only option to protect the child. This is a high standard that ensures removal is only used as a last resort. B. Emergency removal. In situations where a child's life or safety is in immediate jeopardy, CPS has the authority to conduct an emergency removal without prior judicial approval. However, CPS must bring the case before a judge within a short period, usually 24 to 72 hours, to obtain legal authorization for the removal. During this hearing, CPS must provide evidence to justify the emergency action, and the parents are given an opportunity to present their side of the story. C. Preliminary hearings. Following an emergency removal, a preliminary hearing, often called a shelter hearing or detention hearing, is held to determine whether the child should remain in protective custody. At this hearing, the judge reviews the evidence presented by CPS and any evidence or arguments provided by the parents or their legal counsel. The judge must decide whether the child can safely return home or if continued placement outside the home is necessary. The goal is to make this determination as quickly as possible to minimize the disruption to the child's life. D. Full adjudication. If the case proceeds beyond the preliminary hearing, a full adjudication is scheduled. This is a more formal court proceeding where CPS must prove that the child was subjected to abuse or neglect as defined by law. Both CPS and the parents have the opportunity to present evidence, call witnesses, and make legal arguments. The judge then determines whether the allegations are substantiated, and, if so, what actions should be taken to protect the child. This could include continued placement in foster care, the development of a reunification plan, or in severe cases, the termination of parental rights. E. Family reunification plans. In cases where the judge orders the removal of a child from the home, CPS is required to develop a family reunification plan. This plan outlines the steps that the parents must take to address the issues that led to the child's removal. The plan is tailored to the specific needs of the family and may include requirements such as attending parenting classes, undergoing substance abuse treatment, or participating in counseling. The court monitors the family's progress in completing the plan and holds periodic review hearings to assess whether the child can safely return home. F. Guardians ad litem and casa. In many cases, the court appoints a guardian ad litem gal or a court-appointed special advocate CASA to represent the best interests of the child. These individuals are independent from CPS and the parents, providing an additional layer of advocacy. The gal or CASA investigates the case, meets with the child, and makes recommendations to the court regarding what is in the child's best interests. Their involvement helps ensure that the child's voice is heard in the proceedings and that their needs are prioritized. G. Legal representation. Parents have the right to legal representation during all CPS proceedings. If they cannot afford an attorney, the court may appoint one to represent them. Legal representation is crucial because it ensures that parents' rights are protected and that they have a fair opportunity to present their case. Attorneys for parents can challenge the evidence presented by CPS, cross-examine witnesses, and argue for alternative solutions that do not involve removal. The presence of legal counsel helps to balance the power dynamics in the courtroom and ensures that the proceedings are conducted fairly. H. Appeals process. If parents disagree with the court's decision, they have the right to appeal. The appeals process allows for a higher court to review the case to determine if there were any errors in the application of the law or the procedures followed. An appeal must be based on legal grounds, such as a claim that the judge misinterpreted the law or that there was insufficient evidence to support the decision. The appeals process is an important safeguard that ensures the judicial system remains accountable and that families have recourse if they believe they have been treated unfairly.
So, Lisa, to address what we were talking about earlier, that's where they were saying there's an appeals process once the kids have been removed, but it goes deeper that even after the kids have been removed, the parents can do things to have the kids returned. Now, we haven't seen Dawn and Candace do those things, right? So that's what I'm saying. They're blaming CPS, but what have they done that's in their legal means to have the children returned? And that's what bothers me.
I. Permanency hearings. Federal law requires that a permanency hearing be held within a certain time frame, typically within 12 months of a child's removal from the home. The purpose of this hearing is to determine the long-term plan for the child's care. The court considers whether the goal should be reunification with the parents, placement with a relative, adoption, or another permanent arrangement. Permanency hearings ensure that children do not linger in foster care indefinitely, and that every effort is made to provide them with a stable and permanent home as quickly as possible. J. Ongoing judicial review. Even after a case is adjudicated, the court retains oversight of the case to ensure that the child's welfare is continuously monitored. Periodic review hearings are held to assess the family's progress, the child's well-being, and the appropriateness of the current placement. The judge may modify the case plan, change the child's placement, or take other actions as necessary to protect the child's best interests. This ongoing judicial review ensures that the case remains dynamic and responsive to the changing needs of the child and family. 5. Legal representation and advocacy. Legal representation and advocacy play a critical role in ensuring that the rights of both children and parents are protected during CPS proceedings. These protections are essential for maintaining fairness in the process and for upholding the principles of justice. A. Right to counsel. Parents involved in CPS cases have a constitutional right to legal representation. This right is grounded in the due process clauses of the U.S. Constitution.
Okay, so now they get into legal representation, and this is something I'll put in the little videos I'm going to make out of this. When Pruitt and Lawson had come up and said the parents have lawyered up, they have lawyers. Well, Lawson said that, and then Pruitt came out after that, and he had said, well, they've lawyered up, but it bleeds into the CPS case. This would be the part that they're talking about. Now, this goes a little bit into detail. I want to go further into detail about this, but pay attention to what they say here, because this is why maybe there were things that couldn't have been said or reasons why they couldn't have questioned the boys about certain things, because what it is it's there, it's to protect the boys. You know what I mean? Like, not only the boys, but the parents have their own lawyers that are court appointed if they can't afford one. The boys have their lawyers and their guardians of litem. So it's a big factor in Summer's investigation, I believe. So, all right, let's just listen.
Constitution, which guarantee that individuals cannot be deprived of their liberty or property without fair legal proceedings. Because CPS cases often involve the potential loss of parental rights, which is a significant liberty interest, parents are entitled to have an attorney represent them throughout the process. If a parent cannot afford an attorney, the court is required to appoint one at no cost to the parent. B. Role of the attorney for parents. The attorney representing the parents has several critical responsibilities. They must provide legal advice, help the parents understand their rights and options, and advocate for their interests in court. This includes challenging the evidence presented by CPS, presenting alternative explanations for the concerns raised, and arguing for less intrusive interventions. The attorney also plays a key role in negotiating with CPS to develop a case plan that addresses the family's needs while minimizing the disruption to the child's life. C. Representation for children. Children involved in CPS cases are also entitled to representation, typically through a guardian ad litem GAL or a court-appointed special advocate CASA. The GAL or CASA is tasked with representing the best interests of the child, which may not always align with the desires of the parents or the child themselves. These advocates conduct independent investigations, meet with the child regularly, and provide the court with recommendations regarding the child's care and placement. Their primary focus is on ensuring that the child's needs are met and that their rights are protected throughout the process. D. Independent advocacy. In addition to legal representation, independent advocacy groups often play a role in CPS cases. These groups may provide support to families, offer legal resources, and work to ensure that CPS actions are conducted fairly and transparently. Advocacy organizations can also help parents navigate the complex legal system, providing guidance on how to comply with court orders and how to access services that can help reunify the family. These groups are often crucial in cases where parents may feel overwhelmed or confused by the CPS process. E. The role of mediation. Mediation is sometimes used as an alternative to formal court proceedings in CPS cases. Mediation involves a neutral third party who helps the parents and CPS come to an agreement on a case plan without going to trial. The goal of mediation is to find a solution that is acceptable to all parties, reduces conflict, and speeds up the resolution of the case. Mediation can be particularly useful in cases where the issues are complex and where there is a desire to avoid the adversarial nature of court proceedings. It allows the family to have more control over the outcome and can lead to more collaborative solutions. F. Due process protections. Due process protections are a fundamental part of the CPS legal process. These protections ensure that parents have the opportunity to be heard, to present evidence, and to challenge the actions of CPS. Due process also requires that CPS provide parents with notice of any court proceedings and that they are informed of the allegations against them. These procedural safeguards are designed to prevent arbitrary or unjust actions by CPS and to ensure that any interference with parental rights is fully justified and legally sound. G. Challenges of legal representation. Legal representation in CPS cases can be challenging due to the emotional and complex nature of the issues involved. Attorneys must navigate a legal system that balances the rights of parents with the need to protect children, often under intense scrutiny and time pressure. They must also manage the emotional distress of their clients, who may be facing the potential loss of their children. Effective representation requires not only legal expertise but also sensitivity, empathy, and the ability to advocate fiercely for the client's interests. H. Ethical obligations of attorneys.
So going back to that, what they had just said was, well, this is my research, but what I had put in there was these are the things they're supposed to be doing. However, are these the things that they actually do for parents? Are they following the standards? Let me go back just to that little part right there, because this really is about legal representation, right? But it plays into, I guess you could say, the respect that CPS has for families in certain situations. Here, just listen.
Legal representation in CPS cases can be challenging due to the emotional and complex nature of the issues involved. Attorneys must navigate a legal system that balances the rights of parents with the need to protect children, often under intense scrutiny and time pressure. They must also manage the emotional distress of their clients, who may be facing the potential loss of their children.
So, I guess what I was trying to say is there has to be more. How do you put it? I feel there should be more mental health when it comes to parents, because in a lot of cases, children, a lot of cases, parents that shouldn't have children have children. Okay. And they're not taught. However, they do have programs where, like you go to class and learn how to cook and how to clean and life skills, things of that nature. But what they don't have is the compassion part, in my opinion, when it comes to CPS and coming in. And I feel like there are ways you could approach a situation that could be easier, more comfortable. But then you have to think, like, there are families we hear in the past where Candace has held a gun to a CPS worker's head. You know what I mean? Now, parents don't do that because they don't love their children. They do that because they love their children, but in a lot of cases, parents aren't taught how to love. If you know what I mean, like some people don't understand what it is to have the compassion and the empathy. So I feel in a lot of these cases, when they do the life skills, there has to be a lot more mental health put into the situation. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we're listening to this. This is based research off of the educational aspect, which you could find on the internet, what studies and things like that say. But is it actually really what's happening? And what things could improve CPS? And maybe if we get out there and we talk about it, something could be done. You know what I mean? But anyways, that was, I just totally went off the subject of what that part was even about. And this part's important, so I shouldn't have did that. Okay, let's listen.
Effective representation requires not only legal expertise but also sensitivity, empathy, and the ability to advocate fiercely for the client's interests. Ethical obligations of attorneys. Attorneys representing parents and children in CPS cases are bound by ethical obligations that require them to act in the best interests of their clients, to maintain confidentiality, and to avoid conflicts of interest. These ethical standards are enforced by professional licensing bodies and are essential for maintaining the integrity of the legal process. Attorneys who fail to adhere to these standards can face disciplinary action, including disbarment. These ethical obligations ensure that attorneys act with the highest level of professionalism and that their clients' rights are fully protected. Court-appointed special advocates CASA. CASA volunteers are specially trained individuals who are appointed by the court to advocate for the best interests of the child. Unlike GALs, who are typically attorneys, CASAs are community volunteers who dedicate their time to working with children involved in the CPS system. They provide the court with independent reports and recommendations based on their observations and interactions with the child, Casas often develop close relationships with the children they serve, providing them with a trusted adult who advocates solely for their well-being. J. Continuous advocacy. Advocacy does not end with the resolution of a CPS case. In many instances, ongoing advocacy is needed to ensure that the child and family continue to receive the support they need after the court case is closed. This may involve connecting the family with community resources, monitoring the implementation of the case plan, or advocating for the child's needs in other areas, such as education or healthcare. Continuous advocacy ensures that the child's best interests remain a priority long after the formal legal process has concluded.
Not only that, Lisa, but I feel it would be helpful that if they did family therapy before they decided that children should be taken. I feel like a therapist and a medical, and they do in a lot of cases, like they do the psychological evaluation, but they don't follow up on it after and before. I think a psychological evaluation, there should be a therapist in the room evaluating the family as a whole. You know what I mean? Like you get these, a caseworker will come in and say, okay, well, I think you need mental health, and this is what we're going to say. You have to do this. We can help support you this way, that way. But then once the parents sign up for and do what they're supposed to do, it seems CPS will drop off. You know what I mean? Like they think it's over. And I feel like there should be more evaluation of the family together as a whole in a therapy setting with CPS. Just like, Summer went missing, and that's probably what they did with the boys when they were investigating and questioning the boys just about Summer's disappearance, because they're separate, but they're together, right? However, I feel like if a case is bad enough that the state feels that they need to take it to court, that their mental health should be the number one aspect of any case. Because if you're not treating mental health, you're not treating the problem at hand. You know what I mean? Like, mom don't get up and feed the kids, the daughter's underweight. Okay, well, could it be because mom's depressed and laying in the bed? And what can we do to help? There needs to be more options in helping the families learn. So, because it's always best for the kids to be with their parents, right? Like, you want the families to grow up, and you'll hear in here they talk about the culture and things like that. I'm going to start to get into that here soon. But just mental health is a huge part of why things look. You look at that guy, he's getting ready for trial now, the one in Ohio that shot his boys. It's sad. It's a sad situation. You hear everybody say you would never see that guy do that. He did baseball, he did this, he did that. He's a bad guy. The guy deserves to be put to death, in my opinion, for what he did. However, could that have been prevented had he had mental health? Because you can clearly see that something in him snapped when you listen to the details. The details of that case have been coming out, and you can clearly tell he was talking to himself. He was going into the store and like putting it in his head, like, oh, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. He wrote a letter. Did you guys know that? Like, there was a very huge part of mental health with that. And I feel just more needs done with parents when it comes to mental health, especially when CPS is involved, even though that case didn't have CPS involvement, I don't think. But you get what I'm saying.
Family reunification efforts. One of the core principles of CPS is the belief that children should remain with their families whenever it is safe and appropriate to do so. When children are removed from their homes, CPS is required to make every effort to reunify the family, provided that it can be done safely. Family reunification efforts are comprehensive and involve a range of services and supports designed to address the issues that led to the removal. A. Development of a case plan. When a child is removed from their home, CPS works with the parents to develop a case plan. This plan outlines the specific steps that the parents must take to address the concerns that led to the removal. The case plan is tailored to the unique needs of the family and is designed to be achievable. It may include requirements such as completing parenting classes, attending counseling, undergoing substance abuse treatment, or making improvements to the home environment. The plan also includes timelines and goals, with the ultimate aim of reunifying the family. B. Provision of services. To support the family in completing the case plan, CPS provides a range of services. These services are designed to address the underlying issues that contributed to the child's removal and to strengthen the family's ability to provide a safe and stable environment. Services may include in-home support, mental health services, substance abuse treatment, domestic violence counseling, and educational resources. CPS often works with community organizations and service providers to deliver these services, ensuring that families have access to the resources they need. C. Monitoring and support. Throughout the reunification process, CPS continues to monitor the family's progress. This monitoring involves regular home visits, check-ins with the parents and children, and collaboration with service providers.
And that is 100% correct, Pam. And that's why I said there needs to be more mental health monitoring. You know what I mean? That's why I said I think they need to have more interaction when it comes to the family as a whole, because then they can see. And I don't mean like just in office visits. I mean like take the family to the park, walk away from them, assess them from a distance where they don't think you're looking at them, or just to see. You understand what I'm saying? There needs to be more interaction with different mental health. Okay, for instance, something I have here in my city. My son, and I love it. I love that they did this, and now it's something in the past. Like COVID has taken a lot of funding away for it. But my oldest son that I raised, Bailey, the one with the kids, he had a lot of mental health issues when he was younger. He used to throw tantrums. He had ADHD. He had a speech impediment that caused it. He was born with a speech impediment. You know what I mean? And it caused a lot of frustration for him. So we did a lot of therapy with him. And the one thing that we had was agencies that would come into our homes, like youth support partners, Mercy Behavioral Health here in Pittsburgh is really good for stuff like that. They have, I'm trying to think of the names of them, but they're like advocacy agencies in the mental health, but they only work with kids till they're 14. And when my child turned 14, he was no longer allowed to have these services because he didn't want them. They take the parental aspect out and they consider these children 14 and older adults, and they are not capable to make that mental health decision on their own. And we suffered from it when he got older. I had a lot of problems, like he was refusing his medication, which we never really did medication because he didn't like it. And I'm a mom that tries to listen to what my kids like and don't like. You know what I mean? So we a lot of times went without medicine, but when you go without medicine and you don't have the therapy either, it causes a lot of issues. You know what I mean? He was fighting. My one kid came home from school one time, my son with the heart transplant, and made up a big lie about some kid he didn't like. Swear he did this shit. He was grounded for a long time because he got my older son up there waiting for the kid after school. And my older son beat this kid's ass like bad. We ended up having to go to court, all kinds of shit. He ended up having to go to something called, what the hell is the name of it? He had to go after school and he had to stay there for months. You know what I mean? Like there was no break time and he didn't want to listen to them either. So then he ended up having to go to school there. Like he was in a lot of trouble for a lot of time. And it was all because they took the mental health aspect of it away. He had anger issues and my fault too. And my other son's fault. I'm not saying I was a perfect parent, probably things I could have did to prevent that. But when your son comes up and says, hey, this kid's beating me up and needs a heart transplant and this, that, and the other, and makes up a damn story, of course the older brother is going to go stick up for him, but it caused us a lot of problems. And I feel like if he would have had that therapy, the anger wouldn't have came out. You know what I mean? They aren't able to make a sound decision in life at that age. I agree. It's all they know, sadly. Pam, I agree. They will never tell the whole truth for any reason. I hope that they do. If yeah, okay, we went that far. All right, but I'll put this back on. But anyways, that's what I mean. It's really important that mental health, and especially when DHS is involved and the children are involved, and then when they've gone through things in their life, when you're a child, you never forget the abuse. You grow up with it. You just have to learn how to cope with it. And I know that from my own personal experience. Therapy and that, it's really important. I don't know what I would do if there weren't times in my life that I had to go through therapy to talk through someone and to, and get through things. And the thing I like about therapy for myself, and I don't utilize it as much as I should. When I feel I don't need it, I don't go. But if I feel I need to talk to somebody, I will reach out to a therapist. But the thing is that they have to stay non-judgmental. You know what I mean? And they can't go and they can't tell people things. So you can tell a therapist your deepest secrets and how you really feel, and they can't hurt you for doing so. So a lot of people need to take that into consideration if they're going through something tough. Like, make sure you're reaching out, you know? Yep. Children trapped in their own minds, 100%, always reach out. Yeah, it took me a long time, Pam, to realize that in my own life. Like, coming into adulthood was rough for me because I really didn't. I mean, I had babies and my babies were sick, and well, my one baby was sick. He needed a heart transplant, and it took me a long time as an adult to go get the help I needed, and my mind was messy. Like, it was hard. It was a hard period in life. I just don't know what I personally would have done without therapy in my life. And I know how important it is. When my husband killed himself, getting older and being an adult now, I can see those signs. But I was not mentally of sound mind back then, I didn't see those signs because I guess I felt the way he felt back then. You know what I mean? But now that I'm older, like, there's a lot of things I could have done to prevent that. So that's why when I say that mental health is extremely important to me, now that I know those signs and I can advocate for them, it's important that I use my platform to do so, just to me. So I guess that's why I bring it up so much. Oh, thank you, Pam. It's okay. You don't have to be sorry. He had a lot going on, you know? He had a lot going on in his life. And we're going to get there because that's why I'm here. I have a lot to say. It's just that I have to do it in a way that's fair and respectful to his birth family, who we now know, you know, and to his adopted parents, who I really don't get along with all the time, and to him and his memory, So one of the ways I could start to bring that conversation up is by going through mental health things when it comes to these cases that I plan on covering and the case that I cover now, you know? All right, guys, let's put this back on. Thank you for listening to this. It's kind of boring because it's not really all finished, and it's going to take me a long time to do this, but it's a good start. It's a sneak peek, whatever.
PS workers assess whether the family is making progress in addressing the issues identified in the case plan and whether the child can safely return home. Monitoring is not just about oversight, it is also about providing ongoing support and encouragement to the family as they work toward reunification. D. Reunification reviews. CPS holds regular reunification reviews to assess the family's progress and to determine whether the case plan needs to be adjusted. These reviews involve the parents, CPS workers, service providers, and in some cases, the child. The purpose of the review is to evaluate the effectiveness of the interventions and to make any necessary changes to the case plan. The reviews also provide an opportunity for the parents to express their concerns, ask questions, and receive feedback on their progress. E. Barriers to reunification. Reunification is not always straightforward, and there are often barriers that must be overcome. These barriers can include ongoing substance abuse, mental health challenges, domestic violence, or financial instability. CPS workers are trained to identify these barriers and to work with the family to find solutions. In some cases, additional services or supports may be needed to help the family overcome these challenges. The goal is to address these barriers in a way that allows the family to reunify safely and successfully. F. Gradual reunification. In some cases, reunification may occur gradually, with the child returning home on a trial basis or for short visits before full reunification is achieved. This approach allows CPS to monitor how the family is coping with the return of the child and to provide additional support as needed. Gradual reunification is often used in cases where there are lingering concerns about the child's safety or where the parents need more time to demonstrate their ability to care for the child. The child's well-being is closely monitored during this period, and CPS remains involved until the family is fully reunified. G. Legal considerations. Reunification is not just a social work process, it is also a legal process. The court must approve the reunification plan, and any changes to the child's placement must be authorized by the judge. This legal oversight ensures that reunification is conducted in a way that prioritizes the child's safety and well-being. The court reviews the family's progress, considers the recommendations of CPS and the child's advocate, and makes a final determination about whether reunification is in the child's best interests. H. Post-reunification support. Even after a child is reunified with their family, CPS may continue to provide support to ensure the transition is successful. Post-reunification services can include continued counseling, parenting support, and regular check-ins with the family. These services are designed to help the family maintain the progress they have made and to prevent future issues that could lead to another CPS intervention. The goal is to ensure that the family remains stable and that the child is safe and well cared for. I. Challenges and successes. Family reunification is challenging, and not all reunification efforts are successful. In some cases, despite the best efforts of CPS and the family, reunification is not possible, and alternative permanent arrangements must be made for the child. However, when reunification is successful, it can be a deeply rewarding experience for both the family and the CPS workers involved. Successful reunification allows the child to return to a loving and stable home, and it provides the family with a second chance to care for their child. J. The importance of reunification. The importance of family reunification cannot be overstated. For many children, being with their biological family is critical to their emotional and psychological well-being. Reunification allows children to maintain important family bonds, cultural connections, and a sense of identity. CPS recognizes the value of these connections and works tirelessly to reunify families whenever it is safe to do so. Reunification is not just about returning a child to their home, it is about restoring a family and providing the child with a stable, loving environment in which to grow. 7. Foster care and permanency planning. When reunification is not possible, CPS must focus on finding a permanent living arrangement for the child. This process, known as permanency planning, involves a range of options, including foster care, adoption, and placement with relatives. The goal of permanency planning is to ensure that every child has a stable, loving home where they can thrive. A. The role of foster care. Foster care is often a temporary solution for children who cannot safely remain in their homes. Foster parents provide a safe and nurturing environment for children, while CP.
Okay, so this is a part I can talk about with my husband a little bit. Okay, my husband had a really bad situation with a foster family who, again, like his adopted parents, looked good on paper. But this situation was even worse, and it led to what happened with his adoptive family, right? Um, we're going to get into that one day. I'm not prepared to speak of that right this moment mentally. However, when I was talking about mental health earlier, not only with the birth family, when you're removing a child or trying to reunify a child, should a mental health specialist be around, but I feel as though there needs to be extensive mental health therapy during the time that a child is with a foster family, because not every foster family is good. That's what I'll say. Yeah, some people foster to look good. I agree with that. That's the situation. Some people adopt to look good, Pam. Especially when it comes to their jobs, when they work for people like CPS and things of that nature. We'll get there one day. So that's why I feel, especially with children, you need to make sure no matter what family they are with, so that they can develop as normally as they can, given their circumstances as they grow into adolescence and adulthood. Or even for teenagers, it's really hard when a teenager gets removed from the home. They've already been taught things in life. I can share this. I know someone that was fostered out to a family. The foster father was a bank manager, but was a monster behind closed doors. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get into some of my ex's story. I think it needs to be told. I just need to make sure I do it legally. You know, his adoptive parents have been very helpful to me in adulthood, but at the same time, I hold a lot of resentment against them, and I have a long history with them. And my ex has a long history with them. And a lot of that goes, it's the CPS system needs a lot of fixing. And these are things that they have been fixed. You know, I'm 47 years old. Hey, go Sip. They've been fixed in a lot of aspects since the 1980s, right? But in a lot of aspects, it's still the same. And in a lot of aspects, things have gotten worse. A lot of it, in my opinion, surrounds money. The hiring of these people are very well funded. However, they always seem to run out of money. If you catch what I'm saying, they have federal level things available to them that they can utilize. However, a lot of that is based on grants, especially when it comes to like the advocacy programs and things like that. There has to be a better way out there in the system to bring the money in, that you don't have some advocacy programs that involve themselves that come in and just, okay, let's transport the kid in the first hours they're gone and keep them for 3 days. I don't know, maybe we might lose the kid someday or something could happen. while they're being transported with people that are uncertified. Those kind of advocacy programs should not be there. It should not be Isaiah 117, in my opinion, picking children up after they are removed from a home and being the first people they interact with. What it should be is a mental health specialist. Okay, I'm going to put this back on. Let me quit interrupting.
CPS works toward reunification or another permanent solution. Foster care is not intended to be a long-term arrangement, rather, it is a temporary measure designed to protect the child while their future is being determined. Foster parents are carefully screened, trained, and supported by CPS to ensure that they can meet the needs of the children in their care. B. Kinship care. Whenever possible, CPS seeks to place children with relatives, a practice known as kinship care. Kinship care allows children to remain connected to their family and cultural heritage, which can be critical for their emotional well-being. Relatives who serve as caregivers are often eligible for the same support and services as foster parents, including financial assistance, training, and access to resources. Kinship care is often seen as a preferred option because it maintains the child's family connections and provides a sense of stability and continuity. C. Adoption. When reunification is not possible, adoption is often the preferred permanency option. Adoption provides the child with a permanent, legal family and ensures that they have the stability and support they need to thrive. CPS works to find adoptive families who are a good match for the child's needs and who are committed to providing a loving and supportive environment. The adoption process involves legal procedures to terminate the parental rights of the biological parents and to finalize the adoption in court. Adoptive families receive ongoing support from CPS to help them adjust to their new roles and to meet the needs of their adopted child. D. Concurrent planning. In some cases, CPS engages in concurrent planning, where they simultaneously work toward reunification and explore other permanency options, such as adoption or placement with relatives. This approach allows CPS to move quickly to secure a permanent home for the child if reunification efforts fail. Concurrent planning is designed to reduce the time a child spends in foster care and to ensure that they achieve permanency as quickly as possible. It requires careful coordination and communication between all parties involved, including the parents, foster parents, and potential adoptive families. E. Permanency hearings. Federal law requires that a permanency hearing be held within a specific time frame after a child enters foster care, typically within 12 months. The purpose of this hearing is to determine the long-term plan for the child's care. The court considers the child's current placement, the progress of the reunification efforts, and the likelihood of achieving the permanency goal. The judge may order CPS to continue working toward reunification, to pursue adoption, or to explore other permanency options. Permanency hearings ensure that children do not remain in foster care indefinitely, and that every effort is made to provide them with a stable and permanent home. F. Long-term foster care. In some cases, long-term foster care may be the best option for a child, particularly if they have special needs, or if no suitable adoptive family can be found. Long-term foster care provides the child with a stable living arrangement while allowing CPS to continue exploring other permanency options. Foster parents who take on long-term placements receive additional support and resources to help them meet the child's needs. CPS closely monitors long-term foster care placements to ensure that the child is safe and that their needs are being met. G. Challenges of permanency planning. Permanency planning is a complex and challenging process that requires careful consideration of the child's best interests.
See, that's the thing though, Lisa. We don't know that. I feel that because this is just my opinion on it. Summer's missing, Rose is missing. Most of their family are out of state. I believe at the beginning of this, the boys stayed in Tennessee. I think they're probably still there, even to the point where Clyda came in and had first dibs with the boys, but she's an older lady, so she probably couldn't adopt them, you know? So I think they just did what was best for the boys and not to put them with the family just because they knew there would be so much speculation out there, or maybe a family member would come out and talk. It might cause problems for Summer's case. So I think a lot went into that. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy that the boys get to live a different type of life, one that they've never known. Personally, I think it's the best for them. And I think that because Summer's missing and the case has so much attention, that I hope that they made sure them boys went to a very good family, and I hope they're together. Like at the beginning of this, we heard the oldest boy was separated. He had a hard time coping. That was via Dawn on Voices, which is something else I was going to get into. I cut apart a couple things out of a couple lives. This is going to take me a couple months to get through. I'm hoping what I could do is come once a week and go through the whole CPS thing, but not only for with the wills, but for other cases and things to look at. And I'm going to start, I hope you guys will stick around for it. I want to start covering some other things, like maybe even just reviewing and responding. I was watching a case today, I think it was on Law and Crime, where there was like this Karen neighbor, and she like could not stand all of the children in a neighborhood. She was so mean every day, out there harassing the kids, calling the police. Well, it got to a point where the little boy left his tablet in a field they played in. He went over to get his tablet, and the lady come out and started yelling. So the mom come out. The lady went to go knock on the Karen lady's door, and this woman shot her right through the door. Mother of 4 kids, right in front of her kids, killed her. Crazy. Oh, you seen they all wear glasses. You seen it. Oh, the boys. You're talking about the boys. So yeah, maybe when this is over, we can go watch that Long Crime thing. I want you guys to see it. It's insane. I'm going to cover Summer all the time, but I'm going to start coming out and covering some other things a couple days a week too. Just things I see. I don't want to like research people the way I have in the past. It feels icky. It's not who I am. It was wrong. But I like true crime. So maybe like reacting how people react to music videos, to different cases would be fun. I don't know. Let me know what you think. We could try it after this. See how it goes. I only have 13 people in here, but hey, whatever. Okay.
Challenges can include finding adoptive families for older children, children with special needs, or sibling groups. Additionally, the legal process of terminating parental rights can be lengthy and emotionally difficult for all parties involved. CPS workers must navigate these challenges with sensitivity and professionalism, always keeping the child's well-being at the forefront of their decision-making. H. The role of the child. The child's wishes and feelings are an important consideration in permanency planning. CPS and the court must take the child's preferences into account when making decisions about their future. In some cases, older children may be involved in the planning process and may have a say in decisions such as adoption or placement with relatives. Ensuring that the child's voice is heard is critical to achieving a permanency outcome that is in their best interests. Post-permanency support. After a permanency decision is made, CPS continues to provide support to the child and their new family. Post-permanency services can include counseling, financial assistance, and access to resources to help the family adjust to their new roles. These services are particularly important in cases of adoption, where the child may need ongoing support to address issues related to trauma, attachment, and identity. CPS's involvement does not end with the achievement of permanency, rather, it continues to ensure that the child remains safe and supported in their new home. J. The importance of permanency. Permanency is critical to a child's development and well-being. Children who grow up in stable, loving homes are more likely to thrive emotionally, socially, and academically. Permanency planning is not just about finding a home for a child, it is about providing them with a sense of security, belonging, and identity. CPS recognizes the importance of permanency and works tirelessly to ensure that every child in their care achieves a permanent, supportive home where they can grow and flourish. 8. Continuous oversight and accountability.
You know what? This is boring right now, and it isn't finished. I'm glad you guys stuck around for it, and we will finish it. Maybe I'll even go over the rest of it another day. But I actually do want to put this case on because this was really disturbing to me. That your neighbors could be this dangerous and you wouldn't even know it. This lady is insane. I can't believe they're only charging her with what they're charging her with. You guys will be floored. I feel like she needs full murder charges. She's getting like manslaughter or something.
The highly anticipated case of Susan Lawrence is now headed to trial. The Florida woman dubbed Karen by her neighbors is now charged in the death of a Black mother of four.
I don't want to be intimidated by them screaming and yelling at me, telling me calling me Karen. They're calling me names. Really, we're going to, devolve to this simple bullying. I don't want to face this.
It's a case that gained national attention after now 59-year-old Susan Lawrence pulled the trigger on Ajika or AJ Owens, Lawrence's neighbor. Officials say Lawrence shot at Owens through a locked metal door over a disagreement involving Owens's children, who'd been playing in an open field near Lawrence's apartment. In the weeks leading up to Owens's death, body camera video captured Lawrence making multiple complaints to law enforcement. Her biggest problem? Owens's four children.
I don't know what his problem is, this guy in the next building, and there's no trespassing signs. The kids have been out of control. They're screaming, yelling.
As the case heads to trial, we're taking a look back at what we know so far and what we can expect looking forward.
I just don't know what to do with these kids. It's ridiculousness at this point.
The case takes place in Ocala, Florida, about an hour and a half northwest of Orlando. The deadly shooting happened in June 2023, but Lawrence first contacted the Marion County Sheriff's Office in February 2022, reporting that Owens got physical with her.
I work at home, I do insurance, and the kids are screaming and yelling. And so it's very hard for me. And this is my apartment here. When they're all here in the front, it's really, we can hear it's loud, it's noisy, the kids are active. The kids.
Yeah.
But when
This is an example of someone who needed mental health help. The fact that she called these police so many times for the reasons she called them for, they should have locked this woman the fuck up in a mental health facility. She is the meanest neighbor, and it scares me that people, our neighbors out there, could be like this freaking woman. It makes me so mad that something wasn't done about this because she looks innocent and like an innocent white old lady. I wish I could meet this bitch in person. Really.
they come on the side here, I just can't hear my clients.
Okay.
That's not fair to me.
Yeah,
I
no,
have,
I understand that.
Right to have peaceful and quiet
Listen,
enjoyment.
I understand.
I'm sorry, my heart's thumping.
No, you're fine, just breathe.
I just didn't know she was going to actually get physical with me.
What the other sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not cool. You don't get physical. I mean, that's ridiculous.
She just threw it?
No, she whipped it at me.
Okay.
I mean, she hit me.
But Owens told a different showing
her sign, showing her sign, like almost like she went and bought a little private property sign and she stuck it in there. So she left the sign and she's basically like ramming the sign in my face. And then when she went to pick it back up, I picked the sign up and I threw the sign. I literally picked the sign up, and as I walked off, I threw the sign. I said, I can go and buy a sign too. It still doesn't mean anything. At that point, I guess she's already on the phone and I'm being attacked. Someone's attacking me. I'm literally in the street now, proceeding to
Okay.
over here. Everybody's
Where this happening?
right over here behind the mailbox.
Okay.
Other neighbors backed up Owens, saying she never hit Lawrence.
Yeah, she didn't touch that lady. She just took the thing out the ground and that was it.
What thing?
The thing, the no trespassing thing. She didn't touch it. No, she didn't throw it at her leg. She did not throw the damn thing.
That's what London said, because London was a...
No, she didn't throw it.
No, she kind of tossed it.
If you've ever dreamed of owning an apartment complex and you live near one of these cities, then you've got to see the same ad that I saw.
He's not over here to talk to you. She just set it down, and the lady just happened to be there. She didn't throw it at the lady. She didn't touch the lady or nothing.
But even...
And all she did was tell the lady to stop yelling at her kids. That lady yells at everybody's kids out here.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't go over there anymore.
Owens explained.
Just wait. It looks like these kids are bad, right? At the beginning of this. But just watch how bad this gets. Oh, go. I want to give you a big hug. I'm very happy, though, that you got to be raised by somebody you wanted and had a good life. That goes to show that sometimes the system does work. It's not always bad. There are situations where the system works, and there are situations where the system does not work. And those are the situations we have to advocate for, right? So that we can make it so that everybody's outcome is great. Okay. But anyways, watch this shit, because this is insanity. It looks bad now, but just keep watching. Not bad. It don't look bad, but it looks like these kids were harassing this lady, right? Keep watching.
The neighborhood children played in an open field next to the home Lawrence was renting. And apparently, Lawrence claims the children couldn't play or walk their dogs anywhere near that empty lot.
It's funny because I'm the one that never comes outside and says anything to her. But today, I just happened to feel in it. First of all, before she moved there, this big open space right here, all the kids, they like to play kickball, football, and it's what she moves in. I don't want y'all playing over there. This is private property, so they don't play there. Okay, fine. I told my kids at least. They're playing over there, y'all don't play. Okay? So we have a dog, and she's always taking pictures of the kids. Oh, I'm going to call the police and have you guys arrested. Always bad for the kids. I tell the kids, come over there, stay away from here, don't. Whatever. So we have a dog. My kids take the dog out. The other day, she tells my son, I'm going to have you arrested and you're going to jail. He's 8, so he's terrified. He won't even walk the dog.
Just let her know all that.
Okay. So she's terrified. He won't even walk the dog anymore. So I had my 11-year-old take the dog out now. So he's walking the dog on this side. Now you live on this side, okay? You don't want him over here, fine, but this is joint area. You can't tell them they can't walk him on this side. So they're walking the dog and he's all the way back towards the fence. I'm standing here. Come on, son. She comes outside to go to the car or something. She sees him. Oh, I told you I'm going to have you arrested. I'm going to have you arrested today. She has her phone out like she's taking this picture. Now he's trying to run. So I said, I'm sorry, what are you saying to me? And so I go over there. So this is my private property. You can't have the dog over here. I told her, first of all, he's not on your property. He's on this side. You don't own it. And even if it was on this side, you don't own this either. You're renting this just like I rent over here, just like they rent over there. You don't own this. You can't tell them technically if they're not in your personal space that they can't walk the dog or even throw their football over here.
This was just the start of Lawrence's calls to law enforcement, claiming the neighborhood kids were trespassing and causing a public disturbance. Over the next year, she made nearly a dozen calls to the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Kids keep running back and forth over here. When the kids are out front, I don't, it's really noisy. The way my apartment's set up, you can see it ends here. They're screaming, yelling. I don't get a break from the kids at all. I don't have children. I've asked them, please, the kids all live on that side of the street. For some reason, they love to play over here. I'm like, guys.
Probably because it's open.
I understand that. I have migraines, horrible migraines. I had a very bad car wreck. I had my neck fused. I need more back surgery. I don't want to hear these children. I've asked them, please, keep the kids away. There's other places they can play. They don't have to play here. They're screaming, yelling at me, telling the kids are not hurting anybody. the kids, you know, they're not damaging anything. Well, they're damaging me because the migraines are so bad. Most days I could barely stand. I'm on dipyramate. I'm on Furosets. I'm on sumatriptan. It's horrible for me. I'm in pain. I don't hear the children. I'm not trying to be a, but, you know, it's not fun. You know?
Okay. Well, have you talked to your landlord?
Yes. There's no trespassing sign.
Okay.
You know, and they're saying that this guy is giving them okay to be on the property. He doesn't own the property. Someone up in North Carolina owns the property. I'm a real estate agent. Looked them up. So I don't know where they're getting their information from. It's just not true. I don't want to be intimidated by them screaming and yelling at me, telling me I'm a bitch, calling me Karen. I mean, they're calling me names. Really, we're going to, you know, devolve to this simple bullying. I don't want to face this.
As body camera video shows, Lawrence is in near constant contact with the Marion County Sheriff's Office, even calling them by phone to report the neighborhood kids allegedly stealing her things.
They stole the do not trespass sign. They've been coming, throwing bottles of water against my sliding glass door. They've actually banged on the door so hard they broke the, I don't know what, the casing around the door. And I walk out of my truck, they're screaming at me. As soon as I walk to the truck, they come up to me and just scream like idiots. And I finally lost my nerve today. I just couldn't take it anymore. I called the kids retards. Then the mother comes screaming at me, "Don't call my children retards. I'm going to put you in a nursing home." Like, why? I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with these people over here. I've never had an area where I lived in where they've been so, I don't know, aberrant in behavior.
Right.
Is there anything I can do with these people?
I mean, the one thing I would say is if you have a smartphone or anything like that, or if you have outside cameras, you know, getting it all recorded and documented. That way, when we do come there.
Poor lady, my ass. Keep watching. You'll see. She's nothing. She's lying. Everything she said is a lie, and they prove it. It's crazy. This lady's insane. I hope she gets the death penalty. That's my opinion. You can have your opinion, but just watch it all before you say poor lady.
Then they can, it's not the neighbors, oh, he said, she said type thing. You have video evidence of, like, if you have an outside camera, the kids throwing, you know, stuff at your house, or, you know, anything in that, or if you're getting out of your truck or going to your truck and they're doing that, just, if you have a smartphone, just start recording and say, you know, hey, what, I'm recording y'all of y'all's actions, and try to keep a level head with it and everything like that. And then just tell them, like, you know, if y'all keep continuing, law enforcement will be involved. And then that way you have that video and everything like that. That way when we get there, neighbors are not siding with her side or anything like that. So we have that proof.
Pretty and you know, from head to toe, swing that thing around.
On another call, Lawrence tells sheriff's deputies that her no trespassing sign was stolen again.
What's going on this evening?
Lots of children screaming their full heads off, running around. I had my truck parked in front here, so I didn't have to listen to the screaming and yelling. As soon as I moved the truck, the kids were coming up. I'm like, guys, stop. They know they're not supposed to be over here. They've been told many times. They've previously stolen the trespassing sign.
Lawrence then says someone approached her front door, threatening her.
And the little kid tells me to shut up to my face. I said, don't be disrespectful to me. And he's exchanging words back and forth. I'm like, listen, my name is Dr. Lawrence. Don't tell me to shut up and he was calling me names. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, go wherever you live. Listen, you're not. His mother comes over here. If you treat my son like that again, I'm going to rip your ass out and go beat you up. Excuse me? I don't bloody well finish that. And I said, see that no trespassing sign? Get off my porch. And no, I'm not going to. I said, no, I'm calling the sheriff's department. I don't know who the hell she was, but.
Do you know where she lives?
I guess somewhere in there.
Do you know what she looks like?
She was black, 20s, 30s, but I'm not going to take this.
As this recording continues, the sheriff's deputy looks for the woman who allegedly threatened Lawrence. In the process, he hears from some neighborhood kids who describe their interaction with her.
So,
Yeah, we're clear.
were you the guys that this lady was mad about?
Yes, and I just want to say that
Okay.
every time, like even
Hey,
if we're not.
hold on. Let's bring it down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Every time,
You're okay.
even if we're not on her property and we're just like being loud and playing basketball over there because there's a basketball hoop.
I got you.
Like she just calls us names.
Okay.
Yeah, like literally, like literally all the kids, because that's an open spot right there.
Yeah.
All that is not her property.
I got
The
you.
guy that I was just telling this officer right here, this guy has said numerous times,
Whichever.
y'all come over here and play, because they all like to play football and stuff.
Okay.
So he's okay with it, and that's where they mainly are. They're more on his side.
What kind of names is she calling you guys?
The B word.
The B word.
The P word. Everywhere in the hood. Like one time the kids were playing right there, and it was his dad outside. And then she came
Your
out
dad?
yelling at
Cowboy?
Yeah, my dad.
She came out yelling, and she was talking about a little girl getting raped and stuff. Like she's crazy. Like she'll come out just yelling
She
about.
just says weird. Like I have said stuff to her before because one time I would just happened to come outside and she was calling them. I'm like, hey, like relax. I'm
Yeah.
like, these are kids here.
But if you guys have permission to be over there, then I can't really get on you guys too much. But if someone's going on her property, which is just her porch, it's not okay. I'm not saying you did. She's claiming you did.
Yeah.
I wasn't here to see it, so I can't go one way or the other. All right.
Yeah,
If she starts screaming at you guys, I want you to go tell an adult. Okay. I don't want you to antagonize her. Okay. Because what happens is when you guys antagonize her, she can make you guys look bad. And you guys are just out here playing, right?
But in a separate recording from that same evening, Lawrence says her landlord said the kids weren't allowed on her property.
They've been told by Charles not to come on the property. Charles is the owner of the building. They've been told, he said, kids, like I said, they stole a trespassing sign. Kids, there wasn't trespassing sign. It was supposed to be handed out. That's why there's no trespassing here, there's no trespassing here.
Sheriff's deputies explained that every time Lawrence calls law enforcement, reports will be documented from both sides.
Instructing kids to not bother you.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and watch. She's ridiculous backwoods. I went in her chat and watch the beginning of this. I showed you. She took her live down and everything because of me, I guess. I don't know. She's ridiculous. It was quite funny. Don't make me laugh again because I'll piss my pants. I swear to God I will. She is the funniest shit. She needs to sit down. She needs a whole brain transformation, in my opinion. Woo, out there. Okay, hold on.
If you come out and you say something to them, they're supposed to go get their parents. And what about the officials and grandmas and you? Well, that's not what she said. According to her. Oh, no, honestly, God, she said that. We've also explained to her that if there's any future problems, that either she calls or now I'm going to tell her if there's a future problem, that she calls. Okay. It is going to be documented that, okay, that's what you're claiming she said, but it's also going to be documented what she does.
Moving into 2023, Lawrence's complaints continued.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Aggravated.
Okay. So what's going on?
Okay, I've got young ladies who just keep coming by and think it's hysterical while I'm working to bring their animals and scream while I'm on the phone. There's signs, no trespassing by the windows for a reason. There's no trespassing because they can't be here. And then they're standing here telling me, okay, no, enough. They need to be trespassed the hell out of here.
So what I'm looking at, where they're at, you can't trespass anybody from that location.
They're right in front of my windows.
But here is showing them in the parking lot.
The whole area, this whole thing is private property.
Yes. The issue is that the parking lot is a common area.
But then they don't live here.
If they live in the park and they just cut through the parking lot,
No, they're not in the parking lot. They're on the grass.
that's technically part of the parking lot. So unless they're like in here or
But this is
in this
all
grass.
part of the whole thing is private property. You understand this whole, all right, this whole development is private. Even the road is private, okay? I have my real estate license, trust me. This is all private. Even the road is privately owned by the owners in this development, okay? So everything is private, all privately owned.
Well, first of all, you can't trespass somebody from a road.
Okay, but they were still on the property that's private.
The other main issue is they're not here, so I can't trespass them anyways.
This time, sheriff's deputies explained to Lawrence that she doesn't control the neighborhood and what she considers trespassing is actually legal.
You don't have sole control over the parking lot. There's 4 people here.
Yeah, but those children don't live here. I mean, they literally live across the street on the other side. They don't.
I understand what you're telling me, and I get it, but you don't have sole power to say, hey, they can't be in this parking lot.
But he's asked them to leave. I mean, you can call Charles. I mean,
I'm just telling you, it's trespassing. It's the first time's civil because it doesn't become criminal until they're warned.
okay, but he's already told them you're not trespassing.
Who's he?
All right, and he's just trespassing right now. He's trespassing right now.
It is no measure of sanity to be well-adjusted.
He's trespassing.
He came over to come ask us a question.
And he's
What do you need us to do? What do you want us to do?
Tell the girls not to come. They can't come on when I'm on the phone. Okay. I mean, literally, they cannot come on when I'm on the phone.
I mean, I can talk to them if I can figure out who they are. But
I mean, he needs to get, because he's screaming all the time too.
Okay.
He just needs to get off.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I just don't know what to do with these kids. I mean, it's ridiculousness at this point. I mean, they can't come when I'm on the phone. It's a HIPAA violation. I mean, what do I do with these children?
Are you inside the house?
I'm inside the house.
Can they hear you on the phone?
Absolutely.
How can they hear you on the phone?
Because I told them to leave, and they told me go off, and I can hear them through the window.
So they can hear your phone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The only thing I can suggest would be maybe try and soundproof the room so they don't hear the phone call. I'm trying to give you options. I can't control everybody 100% of the time.
Sheriff's deputies then speak with the neighbor who Lawrence originally said was trespassing. According to him, Lawrence threatens kids playing outside.
And that's something that's when I figure she's not over.
Sort of backwoods. She's a Karen, but she's a Karen that killed these little kids' mom right in front of the children. And now she's on trial, but they're only getting her with manslaughter, and it pisses me off. And this gets real sad. Like, you see her kids cry and all kinds of shit. The police are there, like, when it's so sad. I told her, yeah, go sip. I'm laughing. I'm sitting here. I want to see it. One of the highlights that I have that I loved was when I got to get on Cam and Allie's panel and tell Blowhorn Betty to go shut the fuck up. I was there to hear something about Marlena, and she's on their panel. Blah, 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 blah. Derailing the whole thing. That whole crew, man. And then even when you try to be nice to them, they gotta be assholes. Like tonight. Molly's such a fucking asshole, dude. It's hysterical. She's an asshole, in my opinion.
Every time the kids are playing here, we're doing jump ropes, whatever. She gets her vehicle. She goes, I'm like, lady, you gotta be careful. I mean, that's when I say, like,
was it your kids?
It's the whole neighborhood, man. We always play here, So we do jump rope, we do a little bit of everything. This is just an open field, it belongs to both property. You know what I'm saying? So if the kids want to play there, whatever. And that's what I keep telling them. Hey, as long as you don't get in her door, you don't start throwing rocks, don't be cursing at her. It's okay. She can cut the cups whenever she wants. But and I was trying to reason with her one day because we were all playing here. The kids, everything jumping. All right, let's go. And she's like, hey, you know what? One day you guys are gonna die. And I'm like, and that's when I like, whoa.
As this conversation is ongoing, Lawrence even comes back outside to interrupt.
Hey.
I'm getting too much feedback on the phone from the dog.
I'm sorry?
Go someplace where he's not barking. Please, I'm getting too much feedback. I can't hear my customers.
Dog. Jackie.
It's a dog. We can't stop the dog from barking.
Yeah, but it's too much feedback. Can you please at least go someplace where I'm not getting so much feedback?
That's I mean, that's
All right. Well, you have a good one. Apparently, we can't stay here and have a conversation with Shane.
that's what I'm saying.
So,
That's what I'm saying. She's not over there, right?
On yet another call, Lawrence reports a neighbor kid wanted to show her a puppy and she disapproved.
okay, what's going on?
The kid from across the street and his little buddies, they're over here, they're stepping on the sides and stuff. He brings out a puppy. He wants to put his puppy in my truck. I don't go for that.
In the bed of your truck?
Yeah.
Who?
This little child who posed for me because he thought he was being so bloody cute. That little child.
But this same day, sheriff's deputies hear the other side of the story too.
And they're playing over. And then the boys are playing.
She tells us to F off and stuff.
And she called us an N-word.
So she lives right across the street, though.
No, she lives right there.
That's what
We
I'm
play
saying.
right here. We play right here. She's over
And you see
there.
what
And
it's like,
she
kick
come
off
out and
grass.
starts
She doesn't
playing.
want us right there, but it's a problem when we play
Get
right here.
off my F4 property.
It ain't her property. We ain't worried about it.
Yeah, that's why
She
We
be
just
trying.
coming out here.
She be trying to call us
yell
every
at y'all,
time.
She
You
had,
wanna yell at us?
she asked,
Oh, yeah.
because she every time I walk past, she thinks we're trying to steal her truck or buy her truck.
We're not even.
How old are you?
We're 11.
Okay, yeah.
We're 11. We're up to like 13,
Are you
11.
even, do you even know how to drive?
No.
Okay. We explained to her that there doesn't need to be a call for service every time the kids are playing in the road or in the yard.
Well, apparently they've been stomping it. I mean, that one looks like it's been stomped out too.
Okay.
Apparently they've been stomping out her signs and like running past her windows and screaming.
I just want to pause it every few minutes because this is a long crime. I don't want to get copywritten. But yeah, just keep watching this because it gets crazy. Like, she posted an apology video to me, Casey. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was all about. I'll go watch it. It's crazy. She just went off on me for no reason. I was actually in there listening to the Aaron Carter shit. Like, whatever. Okay. Right, Pam. And that's what's so sad about this. Just wait. I think I might want to follow this trial. I can't believe I didn't hear about this till today. I couldn't believe what I was seeing by the end of this. We're getting to the end now, but it gets sad. Like, she was calling every day. The kids weren't even allowed to step outside. You seen that she was out there like, hey, we're getting feedback. You have to move off my property, even to the police who she called. She needed some freaking therapy or something.
And like ding dong ditching her and knocking on her door.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have like 20 kids that are under like 15. Yeah, I mean, not to say that it's perfectly fine that they should just deal with it, but there does come a point where you kind of have to accept that you live with a bunch of kids. I mean, it's frustrating, sure, but listen, I was a little rat kid too. I'm not gonna act like I wasn't. But it's not like they're not dinging us for shit.
I mean, I think we should talk to the parents. And that's a big dog.
Yeah,
I think we should talk to the parents and tell them to at least keep an eye on their children because it seems like the children just run wild.
All this leads us to June 2nd, 2023, when Owens is shot and killed after getting into another altercation with Lawrence.
It was in Ocala, Florida, backwoods. And that cop that was just talking, saying, oh, I was a rat kid too, and this, that, and the other. I hope they fired his ass.
Lawrence about her children.
Well, I got some bad news to tell you. Mom is not coming back anymore. Come. No. Come here. Come over here. Listen to me. No, I know. Okay. It's okay. I know.
According to an affidavit, one of Owens' sons was playing in the field near Lawrence's home and left his tablet behind. When he went back to get it, Lawrence apparently threw the tablet back at the boy, along with a pair of roller skates. Owens then approached Lawrence's door when one of her sons heard a loud bang. Officials say Lawrence shot Owens through a locked door, hitting her once in the chest. She died shortly after.
I hate her. Oh. She's in jail for good.
Body camera video shows Marion County Sheriff's deputies arrive at Lawrence's home and take her into custody.
6403 Marion, I'm 97. I have one down. I have one elderly female barricaded in the house with a signal 0. I'm in front. I'm in front. Sheriff's office, come outside with your hands up. This is the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Come outside with your hands up. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Turn around. Turn around. Where's your gun at?
You got hands? You got hands?
You're going to be detained.
Is there anybody else in the house?
There's somebody else in the house. Can I just get my
No,
daughter?
no, not right now.
All right.
You're not under arrest. You're being detained.
Okay, I understand.
Come over here.
Oh, wait, can you close the door? I have 2 cats inside.
Hold
I
on.
don't want the cats still running.
Did you know your searches can save the ocean? Every year, millions of tons of plastic enter our oceans.
As Lawrence is loaded into a squad car, first responders rush to Owens and begin CPR.
Get over there and assess her. I will bring the bag over. Here, I got to sit you in the back here. Go assess the person down. Okay, you're just sitting there.
Okay.
Hey, I need someone give her aid right there. She needs medical aid over there. Sit inside. I need you all the way inside.
Okay. I need help though. I
Okay.
have a bad
I
back.
need you to hurry though, okay?
Okay.
I understand you need help.
I got it.
Where's she shot at?
In her,
Right here
in her arm. Right here.
Chest. Right side of the chest.
Okay.
There's no exit.
Just keep, if she needs CPR, keep doing CPR. I don't see a lot of blood here.
Yeah, I don't see the blood either. It's probably like a 22
now. I got her
or something.
baby.
Early on, first responders speak with Owens' sons about the moments leading up to the shooting.
Hey, who all was out here when it happened? Hey.
I left my iPad over there because we were playing games. I went to get it. I said, give me my iPad to her. She threw the.
Just stand right here so I know who was out here when it happened, okay?
I left my iPad over there because we were playing games, and I went to go get it. I said, give me my iPad because she had it. She dropped it, tried to throw the skates at me, and and then I got my brother. He said, come hit me with the skates, and then
All right, bud. Give me a minute. Just hang out by my car, okay?
First responders soon speak to Owens' other son, too.
she came and banged on her door, her window.
Okay.
Slide door. That she banged on that, and then the door.
Okay.
And then I was on my electric scooter right here, and then I don't know where I hear a big bang.
Okay.
I'm just running.
Did you actually see anybody with any kind of gun, anything like that, or did you just hear?
I was here running.
Okay. What did you see after that?
I don't know. I came outside and I saw my first mom on the ground.
Okay.
Just minutes after the body cam recordings begin, Owens' sons receive terrible news.
Today has been a very bad day. There's something bad that's happened. And y'all seen it, y'all understand it, y'all experienced it, right? Okay. Y'all love me? Okay. Y'all love mom? All right. Well, I got some bad news to tell you. Mom is not coming back anymore. Come. No. Come here. Come over here. Listen to me. No, I know. Okay. It's okay. I know. It's okay. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I'm so sorry.
You can't go home.
She's home. It's all right. You guys are going to be okay. It's all right.
I messed that all up just because kids were being kids. Every day this lady was out there complaining, calling the police, making up stories. It's unbelievable. And they're charging her with, I believe it's manslaughter. They say it. We're going to finish listening. I know, Backwoods, it's heartbreaking. I cannot believe this woman, like, fuck that. Death penalty, in my opinion.
You guys all right? It's okay. It's all right. Relax. You guys all right? I know this ain't easy. I know. Right now, you understand, God. Yes. Lord, I need your strength right now. Strength right now. It's okay to cry. It's okay to I need my mom's phone.
Devastating body camera video shows Owens' children crying, saying they hope Lawrence stays in jail for good.
Touch my heart right now, God. Touch her, God. Give us strength.
I hate her.
Oh.
She's in jail for good.
Meanwhile, first responders speak with neighbors who talk about the ongoing arguments between Lawrence and the rest of the neighborhood.
It's gonna be chaos, man. You know what I mean? It's everyone's pretty beat up.
I'm very familiar with
That shit
this
is
lady.
wow.
I don't work this zone anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm very familiar with her. So I know the situation and what she has done and everything. But like I said, it's.
I believe the father was the guy telling them that their mother wasn't coming back. Because he said, you know, I love you guys and we love you and I love you. But yeah, you love me, you love mama, or whatever he said. But I believe that was the father that was telling the kids that the mom wasn't coming back. Freaking heartbreaking, man. All over noise. Normal, everyday neighborhood children noises. They played football. They walked their dog. She complained about them walking dogs. And man, put me in a room with this bitch. I don't give a fuck how old she is, if she's a Karen or not. These kids got to live with that the rest of their lives, thinking they were noisy. Disgusting.
We're waiting on the major crimes inspector to get here so he can continue his investigation.
That's sad, man. I just feel sorry for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Susan Lawrence was ultimately arrested on June 6, 2023, and charged with first-degree felony manslaughter. If convicted, she could spend up to 30 years in prison. Lawrence pleaded not guilty, and opening statements are expected to begin in her case on Tuesday. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube videos, wondering.
Yeah, me too, go. Not only my own children, but I had a best friend. My husband and I had a best friend, and we watched this best friend become addicted. We tried to stop it the best we could. Our children were all best friends, and he overdosed when he got back with baby mama. Long story. And I had to, the mom didn't have custody of the kids because she was an addict. And I had the kids for like a whole summer because we didn't know what we were going to do with them. We didn't know where to go, where to turn. Turned out the mom's mom ended up taking the kids, putting them through school, did really good with them, I guess. We won't talk about it. She's okay. She's just an older lady. But after that, the kid's mom went to a sober home. Part of the reason, man, both parents passed away is what it comes down to. But I was the one that had to tell them about their dad. And it was probably the hardest thing besides telling my own kids. I would say even harder, only because they're not your kids and you don't know how they're going to react. But in this case, yeah, it's hard. It's hard when they're so little. My boys were 8 and 6 when their dad, 8 and 7. Zach had just turned 7 the day before his dad did what he did. Yeah, I'd love to see it go. I'll watch it. And just know I'm here to support, you know? You don't have to worry about me putting you down for your story. But yeah, that's about it. I've been on 2 hours, got on at 3:30 in the morning because of Molly. I was in the middle of working on that CPS thing. I'll probably be back tonight, maybe, because I got up really, really early. I slept funky hours yesterday. Okay. Just tag me in them so I remember, because I get so many notifications. They don't always pop up or I don't always see them. But I'm going to jump off of here. I'll be back tonight with something. I guess what I was going to cover tonight, I just covered now. I was going to make my first little introduction to that, but I just did it. Thank you, Backwoods Purse, for all of you too, for everybody. We all go through things, right? We all need prayers, hope, support, compassion. All right. Yep. I'm going to jump off. I'll be back tonight with something. I clipped, that's what I was saying earlier, Chris McDonough and Josh at the lab. I clipped the part where Candace and Dawn came on panel, both of them, Candace just for a second. And I'd like to go over that with you guys tonight. So I'm going to go over that, but it's not really long. So I'm going to have to find something else. If you guys got any ideas, just let me know in the comment section of the live. And I'll look for it if it's something you guys want to go over. Thank you, Go. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later today. It probably won't be really late. It'll probably be like 4 or 5 because I'm probably going to want to go. Oops, look at me knocking shit over. I'm probably going to want to go to bed early tonight because I got up so early. All right, Go. I'll go look. All right, guys. See you later. Mwah. Peace and love.